First and foremost, let me just say, I loved how they used, Albus's naivety in this episode in order to set the episode up, in order to set this problem up. And, what I'm going into is the whole scene where 13 really essentially exposes witches, or exposes them to Albus. Because Albus is naive enough to think, I guess the vice versa of one apple doesn't spoil the rest. He thinks that, one good apple makes the rest good, per se, right? That's his mindset. He thinks, hey, I'm a good witch, I'm a good person, the 5-10 people I hang out with are good people, so all thousands of us must be good. All, the hundreds upon thousands of us must be good. And he gets, he gets exposed, like, I guess in a sense, right, by 13, because we know that's not true. There's bad beasts fallen, and there's good beasts fallen. We've seen that. There's bad witches, good witches. And there's also, bad people in general, and there's good people in general, right? And I believe 13 goes into like 3 different, kind of witches. Or, no, excuse me, beasts fallen. He says there's the peaceful ones, there's the evil ones, and then there's the ones that are, 13's a part of, the state witches that hunt down the other 2 and just eliminate them. It doesn't matter who they are. You are being eliminated. And, it just goes to show, once again, that one apple doesn't spoil the rest, one good apple doesn't make the rest good. But what does this lead into? It leads into our main character, the mercenary and or Beast Fallen, having doubts. And it makes sense that he did have doubts, because it seems as if Zero just kind of let Albus fall into that trap. Because, he was told by 13 after that, either join us or don't join us. But if you don't join us, you're going to be getting burnt at the cross. You're going to be getting burnt at the stake, per se, right? So, Zero, essentially, she should have stopped him. She shouldn't have let him expose himself like that. And, of course, Zero probably had some kind of brilliant scheme plan, or was just hoping that Albus, sided with them before she had to do anything. But she's that character of secrets. She's that character who, there's so many things that we don't know about her, and neither do our characters. And she's probably has some up her sleeve, but how's our mercenary supposed to know that? How is, the Beast Fallen supposed to know if she's up to something or not? And we see him get taken advantage of, because this leads to having doubt in his mind, and 13 can take advantage of any speck of doubt and make it into a lot of doubt. And I noticed his, the mercenary's eyes are purple, so I was kind of like, wait a minute, something's up with that. His eyes weren't always purple, were they? They were blue. And we see them change to blue after, Zero breaks the spell. And the reason why, some people are like, well, he's under a spell, why is Zero mad? And, you gotta put in, perspective that Zero, she's experienced a lot of emotions she hasn't, and, quite frankly, it seems as if she's experienced love, throughout these first few episodes. She knew what love was, but not in context, and now she's, and after she found out what it was in context, she even wanted to kiss the mercenary, and yeah, some people are like, maybe that's not love, maybe it's just curiosity, but I think you're wrong and right. I think that was both. I 100% think that was both, and, obviously we know Zero is someone who is calm and cool, collective, and thinks clearly. And clearly, we, her casting away the mercenary, it's not her thinking clearly. We even see the face after she turns her head and puts it down and says, I should have never have hired you. You could most definitely see passion. You could basically, you could definitely see compassion too. In the sense of, she was pissed. Like, she was genuinely mad. She was flustered, essentially. She was flustered in that moment of time, because just the fact that he had any doubt in her whatsoever. She has lived an isolated life, so we know she's not used to these kind of situations, these kinds of, feelings. So it makes sense that she did get mad and, flustered by this thing that happened in this episode. So once again, good episode overall. I'm glad that this show really did rebound this episode, and two, because if we would have had 2 flat episodes, it really would have been hard for this series to really get it turning, get it churning. So I'm glad to see that they did abuse Albus in that way. That's very good writing. But at the same time, I'm really wondering who did take this grimoire, and apparently they're not from the cave, they're from the outside world. And it makes you wonder, it's like, well, how did they get so strong? If no one knew magic outside of the people in the caves, yeah, you had sorcerers, but if no one knew magic outside the caves, then how were they able to steal the grimoire? Because we even find out that everyone in the cave was literally killed. Every magician in the cave was literally killed outside of 13 and 0. How's that possible? And where were 13 and 0? Were they there. I mean, it seemed as if they were there, but like, were they way far off in the cave or what? Because everyone was killed and they took the book of Zero. So who is this threat and how strong are they? I mean, they seem to be really freaking strong. Obviously, I mean, if they could take down all those people, what makes you wonder? Is it a sorcerer, or is it a magician, or is someone that used, is it another number between 0 and 13 that used to be within the cave with him and or reside in the cave with him? I don't know. I'm really interested to see where this goes with that. And now I know I'm kind of like, sort of starting to get all over the place here, and I know this is something I should have mentioned earlier in the video even, but if you guys are still here watching, definitely leave a comment down below on your thoughts on this. And we find out that, 13 says Zero is terrifying. Do you know what you're talking about a girl that's associated with the highest level of demons. And of course she had rewards, right? She's someone who definitely has her rewards that she gives, Clearly she's going to turn you into a human so she doesn't mess around whenever she's, negotiating and or bartering. And, they're hinting at, hey, she's killed Beast Fallen, and she gives the demons their head. And she's talking. 13's talking about all these terrible things. I'm like, there's no way. Zero, like, in a sense of, there's no way Zero's a truly bad person. And what I'm getting at is, Zero, I think he's telling the truth. And I think he wasn't telling the truth. He's making it more than what it was. I think Zero is both bad and good. I think she has done those things that 13 stated. But at the same time, I feel as if Zero isn't... She isn't a bad... It's really hard to explain, but I mean, maybe it's kind of like an anti-hero attitude is really the best way to, say it, because bad intention, or bad things, or bad events that she's done, bad things she's done, but in good intention, is really what I'm essentially trying to get at here, I think, is the best way to put it. So, I mean... I think it's like a teeter-totter. I think it's both. I think, I think that attribute of Zero and her attitude of Zero goes both ways. I think it's bad and good, but at heart, I think she's definitely a truly good person. But we also did get a little bit of context this episode that they're in a role of capital, obviously. And maybe this is the first thing I should have mentioned. We know magic can now transport you a long ass ways away. They're literally in the kingdom now. So, they went miles and miles and miles in that. Through a portal. So, it's kind of like, whoa, damn. I was like, they're in the capital? Holy shit. I thought they're just like under the church somewhere in a secret passage, or, I thought they were just under the church where they could have took a secret passage, but they just couldn't find it or something. I was like, oh, they're under the church. Nope, we're at the capital. So, so like, well then, anyways, in later news. But to close out this episode, and, on something I definitely should have, I probably should have flip-flopped. No, I should have flip-flopped going into the whole Zero being terrible thing with like the third or fourth topic I talked about, and then I probably should have flip-flopped this one with that one. But hey, we're all over the place at the end of this video, right? Most people probably still aren't even here. So, but the last thing I really want to dive into is whenever the music, the whole scene, kind of the feeling it gives you. Whenever Zero's just diving into detail about how. Don't you think it would have been easier to hunt with unlimited bows? Don't you think it would be easier to catch game with ropes that would never break? That kind of hit me. I was kind of like, wow. So she, this book was made truly, like, I truly felt her emotion. This book was truly made in order to help people, make life easier for people. And, it sucks because things like that happen all the time, even in real life. Like, maybe it's a robot they use in a factory in order to make stuff, parts and pieces. But the end result of that is people losing jobs. Yes, they're easier, they're more efficient, and they're good inventions, Good, and they're made for, the people who make them, the people who want them may not have good intentions because they want to be more efficient, don't care about their employees, but they're, at the same time, they're inventions that are truly made for a good cause, per se, right? Being faster and efficient when making things, that's a good thing to have. But at the end, sometimes everything is a double-edged sword. It just depends. Sometimes you're going to cut yourself, sometimes you're going to cut the other people, too, at the same time. So... it is what it is. But as always, guys, you've been Hex. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Follow my Twitter at Hex25. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Thanks for watching, guys.